Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by my playing partner in golf, Mr. Andrew Hansen, and we are here to discuss the WGC Dell Technologies Match play at beautiful Austin Country Club. I am fired up, Andrew. What do you think about this event?
Oh, I am too. I can't wait for this. This is a different format. It's unique. It's a match
Yeah,
play with different scoring that we'll get into. And it's a
yeah,
bracket that I feel like I have some confidence in filling out. This year with the NCAA bracket, it felt like throwing darts because I haven't watched any college basketball. We've been so locked into the NBA.
yeah.
We can't afford to be distracted by the college guys. So
No.
it was kind of unique in that sense. But this is a bracket where we've been following these golfers and have a good feel for where their game is. So I'm pumped to fill out this bracket and build some rosters on DraftKings only.
I'm excited too. And it's odd because FanDuel doesn't have anything up, and it's a Wednesday start, not a Thursday start. So we're going to be, this will go up before dinner time, well before dinner time on Tuesday. So you have all this evening to review it and then get your plays in. We'll be posting our coach's clipboard and some of our highlighted plays for DraftKings in Discord tonight. Obviously, if FanDuel doesn't have anything up, we can't make those picks. But there's some big tournaments and some great contests on DraftKings. So it's still really a good prime DFS slate to play. So why don't you set the rules a little bit, because I know it's match play, but it's a pretty complicated scoring system, and only you could describe it. And I'll not listen to the whole thing because my head will start shaking and smoke will come out of my ears.
All right, so let me go over the basics. And again, this is only on DraftKings, and props to them for setting up this tournament and some big contests and coming up with this unique scoring format for match play. And what it is based on each hole that you're playing against your opponent in each match. If you win the hole, you get 3 points. If you have the hole, you get 3/4 of a point. If you lose the hole, you lose 3/4 of a point. So the first question is, well, do I want a guy who's consistent and he's just going to grind out and have each hole and gets 0.75 each hole? Well, probably not. You'd rather have a guy in general who's going to win, lose. Because if you win a hole and lose a hole, that's 2.25 points. And if you've just halved those two holes, it's only 1.5 points. So you're going to get ahead of the game with some volatility if you can get a bunch of birdies going. But
Yeah.
on the flip side, you do want to close out your opponent as quickly as possible, because let's say you finish him out on the 14th hole and you've won it 5-4. You actually get points for those last four holes that you didn't have to play. You get 1.6 points for each of those holes. So it kind of works both ways. Keep that in mind. You also get 5 points for winning the match, and you get 5 points if you win 3 straight holes. So that's one more nod toward the guys who can bunch the birdies together and get hot with the putter. Also, if you do go an entire match without losing any holes, you get a 7.5 point bonus. So it's just a lot of fun to come up with this different scoring format and to evaluate these guys based on these 16 groups. Do you want to describe the different groups and how that works?
Absolutely. Basically, what the PGA has done is they set this up really to mimic the World Cup in soccer, if you will. I mean, they have the group stage, which are all pods of four guys, and then whoever advances out of that gets in that final group, and then it becomes single elimination. So it goes immediately from 16-8 to 4-2, and then you have a champion. And what's key here, and different than any other event, really that DraftKings covers for golf, is there's still salaries, and you have some pay up guys, some middle price guys, and some value. However, you have to really scout it looking directly at this bracket, because you'd never want to take two guys from the same bracket because only one advances. So you're really making your selections and building your roster for this event by just trying to get as many guys through that first group stage in order to grab points going forward. So what we're going to do is, rather than going through the normal format we do, we're going to adjust also, and we're going to go each pod and tell you who we each pick. So we'll each have a guy coming out of each pod. That will give you the base to build your lineup with. And then we'll jump to the championship, who we both have penciled in there. And we haven't shared any of our thoughts on this. We wanted it to be organic as we talk it through here on the podcast, and hopefully it can help some of you guys build that. So be very aware that you don't just go in there all of a sudden, for example, you're taking Dustin Johnson and Kevin Na. They're both in the first group that we're going to talk about. You're already in big trouble right off the bat. So you definitely want to follow this and really build accordingly, because it will give you an edge. One last thing I wanted to say on it is the Austin Country Club par 71, 7108. And I have walked this course twice for two of these events when I lived down in Austin about 7 years ago. And it's a fun course. It's a Pete Dye design course, so it's tricky. You got to be able to fade the ball in and, really play some very strategic shots. You can get in a lot of trouble. There's water, normal Pete Dye risk reward stuff. But the key factor in the guys that have done well here are the guys that are just hitting the ball consistently off the tee. No kidding. And then the guys generally that have the red hot putters, because these greens roll beautiful and you can get smoking hot on the greens. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, the last 6 winners, Kisner, Watson, DJ, Jason Day's won it twice, and Rory's won it. That's going backwards from the most recent. Kisner won it last year, and he's a guy that when he's hot with the putter, it's lights out. So that's sort of the landscape of it. I'll, really try to throw in whatever I can from walking it. I would have loved to have played the course, although I'd have probably, it would have brought me to tears, I would say. But I'll try to, chip in, where I think it's, going to help. But I'll tell you, Andrew, it's a fair course. It doesn't overly favor the distance drivers, doesn't overly favor just great iron play. You got to have all the aspects of your game to put it together.
Excellent. So, yeah, we're going to go group by group, 1 through 16. Do you want to start us off?
Let's do it. The group stage first group is Dustin Johnson, Kevin Na, Rob McIntyre, and one of our favorite, usually value plays, Mr. Long, is in this group. DJ favored here, and I think deservedly so. I know he's not playing great, but I'm just going to go with the chalk here and go with DJ coming out of this group right off the bat.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. The guy is by far the most talented here. It's not even close. But because he's been struggling lately, tied for 54th, tied for 48th, I don't want to spend up for DJ to roster him in DFS or bet on him to win this event. I think he could just be tinkering a little bit and gearing up for that trip to Augusta and try to repeat as the Masters champion. So I would go with a value play here. Na's a great putter, but he withdrew from that last event. Who knows if he's really injured or not after that bad score. I would actually go with Long here as one of your long shots in this event. Yeah. If you're going to invest in this bracket, I think this is a place to take a shot. He's minimum price on DraftKings at 6,000. He was tied for 22nd at the Players. Yeah. So that's the way I would approach this bracket, or I would pass it.
That's nice to give you some value if you're going to build him in there. I don't think I'm going to use DJ in my DraftKings build, but as far as coming out of this group, I'm not going to go elsewhere just because, like you said, I mean, I think if DJ plays just decent, he should get through. Yep. But, the other thing is, and I wanted to mention it too, and since we're in the first group, everybody that plays in this gets a big fat check, even if you lose every hole. I mean, so, the Kevin Nas and those guys that might not be 100%, most other, if they can drag themselves around, they're going to play. Yeah, because you're going to get the paycheck. So
yeah, anytime you see a WGC event, these guys usually show up because there's more money at stake and more rankings points, etc. So We
Yes.
do have a great field here. It's going to be exciting. Next group is probably one of my core plays here, Mr. M at
Okay.
8,800 on DraftKings. I mean, look at the trend he's had here recently.
Yes.
28th, 21st, 17th, 8th, and great profile for match play with his rather consistent iron play, and then he can get hot putting, and he really grinds on every shot. So you love that mentality.
Yeah.
These other guys, Perez, decent last event. Leishman, I don't like his recent form at all. Henley, tied for third at the Honda, so wouldn't be a bad pick in my opinion at all. But I'm going to go with M here.
Yeah, I'm very close on this one. Im and Henley. I think Henley's underrated. He's got a good record in his career in match play. He's a dog, man. He's a grinder. I think Im and Henley are neck and neck, and that's going to be a tough decision for me. I'll be putting that final decision. I don't mean to be cutting you guys short that aren't members and just listening in on the pod, but it's really a dead heat for me on Im and Henley. And, I think both of them could advance past Dustin Johnson too, if either one wins. So I'm really going to be grinding out between those two. And one of those two is probably going to make it in my lineup for sure.
Excellent.
The next group is pretty interesting. You got Webb Simpson, Paul Casey, and then you have the two longer shots, Hughes and Gooch. So, the big call here is, can Hughes or Gooch step up their game at the level of a Simpson and Casey? I'm not buying that at all. The thing is with Simpson, though, he is not a good match play guy. His record lifetime-wise is not good. It's just not his cup of tea. He's more of those, he just wants to focus and be out there on his own, scoring, playing the course, not a player. So I'm all about my man, Mr. Casey here. He is one of my chalk favorite guys in my book, and he will definitely make my lineup. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm locking in Casey as well. I mean, his form recently is as
Sharp.
good as anyone. Six straight top 12s worldwide, including a win.
It's ridiculous.
And imagine all those things you just said about him. Can you imagine if you'd been able to say those last summer when we had those awesome lineups and he just crushed them all by himself as like a favorite pay-up guy missing the cut? So...
well, this is the triple reverse jinx because we're both loving him in this event.
Right.
And we're not going to let him blow us up. That's time right. He's gonna step up for the Coach Talk family on this one.
Absolutely. I'm with you on Casey. All right, Group 4. This one's interesting. It's the
European Riders Cup.
It's the European Ryder Cup team, and allegedly this was random, a ping pong ball selection process. But look how
That's ludicrous.
Look how it ended up. What are the chances of Hatton, Westwood, Sergio, and Matt Wallace?
Almost zero.
Almost zero, but here they are. And that one's going to be entertaining to see those guys going back and forth and having some fun, I'm sure. Now, in terms of the strategy here, Tyrrell Hatton missed the cut at the Players. Westwood, after that incredible back-to-back second place, he missed the cut at the Honda. And the image in my brain is him trying to putt up that hill, and he couldn't do it repeatedly. So he missed the cut there. I would go with Sergio Garcia here. Talk about a battler, a World Cup, Ryder Cup type mentality. He tied for ninth at the Players, decent recent form, decent history in this event. And he did have that controversy here recently. So I like him to really try to put his best foot forward in this event. And at 8,300, I like that price on DraftKings.
Not bad. Now, this is a strategy play for me because I think this might be the toughest bracket. There's one other one that's very close. Any four of these guys could easily come out of this group, in my opinion. I don't think there's, it's a fine line between all four guys compared to some of the huge swings in some of these groups. So I'm not going to use anybody from this group in my DraftKings lineup because, again, you don't want a guy eliminated right at the start, and it's just so spread out between these four, it's not even funny. So this is going to be a pass group for me, but if I had to pick a guy for my brackets, I would still go with Tyrrell Hatton. He's a grit and grind, tough competitor dude that I think will enjoy going against some of his Ryder Cup mates.
All right. What about Group 5?
Well, this ends up to me being another blowout city. This might be the heaviest chalk one. I doubt anybody doesn't put Bryson DeChambeau in their DK lineup because his price isn't that bad, considering Tommy Fleetwood is playing bad. I mean, he's not getting in contention. He's grinding. He's making some cuts, just not playing at the level that you would expect. And then Kim and Rosner, I mean, you look at this group compared to that last All-Star European group, it's hilarious. So I just think by default, Andrew, I just think you take DeChambeau and eat the chalk and move on.
I'm hungry for that Bryson chalk here as well. He's worth paying up for. I don't know about the DraftKings lineup. I'm going to have to keep working on it because I do like kind of the medium build this week with this event, but this would be a guy that I would bet on BetUS.com.pa just to win this bracket or the group, if you will. So I like Bryson for sure. Group 6. Now this one is a tough one. How about Tony Finau and Kokrak just to start?
Yes.
Finau had the string of second place finishes, so he's really in a good spot this year. Kokrak has had 3 straight top 10s, so you can't really get any hotter than these guys. And then you throw in Zalatoris from this is basically in his backyard as a Texan, and then even Fratelli. I mean, that guy can get hot, and he's really cheap on DraftKings at 65. So all of these guys are attractive to me. In the end, I'd probably go with Finau. That's my selection. But because it's such a tough group, I don't know that I'll get to him in DraftKings.
I know I'm a homer with Zalatoris, but I think this is where he maybe makes a name for himself. He's played this course a lot in junior golf. He's won an event in junior golf on this course. I mean, it's just like you said, it's right in his backyard. He's, and I think he's going to grind hard to get out there. Finau, again, I know he's a great golfer. I know he's a terrific finisher, but terrific player, but not a good finisher. I just don't trust him in match play like I don't trust him on Sunday. So, Kokrak is a momentum dude, and he's playing great. So I would personally think Kokrak should be the favorite in this group. I know it sounds stupid, but he's probably worth a nice BetUS.com.pa bet. But I'm still going to go with Zalatoris. Fratelli, no, I think he's under these 3, really. I just think being that it's in his home type venue here in Texas, and, he's played good enough golf, just not gotten over the top. I think this would be great experience if he can get through this pod and be able to play DeChambeau in sort of a really exciting match. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that would be a good matchup.
All right, next one. Interesting here. I think you're going to be surprised at this one, Andrew. We've got Victor Hovland, Abraham Answer, and then we have Wiesberger and Streelman. So, this is a tough bracket. These 4 guys can all play. Again, this isn't going to be a bracket that I'm going to use anybody on DraftKings because I think it's one of the 3 or 4 groups that if one of the 4 guys came out of it, I wouldn't be surprised. I think anybody that gets hot here could win it. Hovland's going to obviously be a pretty good choice from a lot of people, and then you'll have some Abraham Answer guys as well. He plays die courses very well. But believe it or not, I sort of like Wiesberger here. He's been grinding, making cuts. He'll miss an occasional cut, but when he gets hot, he gets close to competing on Sundays. It just seems, you got to pick a dog somewhere. Again, I'm not going to use him, I don't think, in my DraftKings build unless I have to go super value. I'm going to play a couple of lineups, actually, because it's just so many good choices here. But, yeah, as a surprise there, I give him a slight edge as a huge dog.
Okay. I'd rather pay up a little bit for Answer, who I think is a great price at 7,700. So solid all around. And I think it could give us an edge over the higher ownership of Hovland that I think we'll get. And Hovland, his last 4 rounds have been subpar, not below par, but a subpar
Yeah.
for the way he
I was
had
going
been
to say
playing.
subpar is great.
Yeah. So the last 2 rounds of that last event and then the first 2 rounds when he missed the cut, I just don't like that particular trend for his price tag. And I think Answer's talented enough to get through here. So if I was going to invest in this bracket, it would be Mr. Answer.
Tough bracket, though.
Yes, indeed. All right, bracket number 8. I'm looking at another value play here. Morikawa, I'm going to fade him this week. I like Billy Horschel. Good price, low 7K range. You know, he is a closer. He gets close to the lead on Sunday. He wins tournaments if he has a chance. Like his all-around game, so competitive. And he gets fiery and I think in a good way. Homa, your man who's had a great year here.
He got
JT
a
Poston
W this year, too.
He does. JT Poston too inconsistent for me, so I like Horschel out of this one.
I agree. I'm going to play Horschel. I'm probably going to use him on DraftKings because he's cheap, fairly cheap. But I agree with everything you just said. I think he's a grinder. I think he's intimidating, and I think he can go a couple of rounds in this sucker. So I really like him in this DraftKings whole setup, and I think he's going to be very low owned. I think everybody's going to go Morikawa here like crazy. And, to go a couple of rounds, most people have Morikawa, Hovland, that kind of thing, or Answer. But I think Horschel, if he's playing his game, which he's been in decent form, obviously Morikawa has more talent than those 3 guys combined probably, but he's just not in great form. He's been just oddly inconsistent, and you have a couple of bad holes with the scoring system. Horschel scooch 3 holes in a row from you and get that bonus, and then he's tough to catch. But I do have to make a little comment on Homa. I mean, he's made me money this year in PGA. He really has, and he's got a shot here. He just doesn't have a huge history of being real consistent in match play yet. So I think this, Horschel's experience is really going to pay off here. And I think he's probably our secret squirrel if we both agree on him, because he's not going to get a lot of ownership, and, could be a guy that really swings the slate for you.
Yeah, halfway through the bracket here, I think he probably is our best secret squirrel. But let's see what we have on the second half.
Exactly. Whose turn is it, you or me?
You got it.
I got it. All right. Justin Thomas, Louis Oosthuizen. And then we have 2 wily vets, Kisner, the defending champion, and the one and only Matt Kuchar. So, interesting bracket. Most people are going Justin Thomas. He's coming off the win. He's super hot, looking great, playing great. I'm going Louis Oosthuizen here. And I like the grind player here in Louis. That's really what I look for in match play, is guys that, you would be intimidated to look at eye to eye, although you'd have to look down. He's super short. But, guys that, their next shot's going to be tough and they're going to stand up to it. And, Thomas is a guy to beat. Hopefully he's, a little bit of hangover from just winning type of thing, and then wanting to more focus on the Masters that's in a couple of weeks. I'm just that edge. I think any of these 4 guys could come out of it. Oosthuizen, even though I pick him, isn't going to be a big play for me on DraftKings, because again, I'm looking for the guys. It's like I feel even times 5 of just making sure you get guys through the cut into Saturday in a regular event. I want to find the guys that I feel most comfortable are going to come out of their groups and be able to get into this next level of play. So probably won't DK a lineup anybody here, but I do think Oosthuizen can come out of here over Thomas.
Oh, Louis, my man. I'm with you.
Nice.
I like him a lot here for the reasons you said in terms of the hangover with Justin Thomas. And Louis Oosthuizen, although he is short, he is intimidating. He's not
He
the guy
is.
you want to look at in match play
No.
because he's got one of the most beautiful swings in golf.
Yeah.
It's picture perfect, and it usually goes where he wants it to, and then he goes in and knocks in the putt. He's one of the best putters out there.
He looks like he has no nerves whatsoever. He's
Right.
one of those ice
He
cold guys.
he just calmly drains it and
Yep.
continues on, and he gets it done. Great match play history. And it is a tough group, but he is a good price. I'm willing to play him on DraftKings this week. I like him a lot.
Nice.
Group 10. It's the Matt group. Matt
Bizarre
Fitzpatrick.
group.
He's now
Yeah.
Matt, not Matthew.
Yeah, I
And
saw that.
we'll see if he can continue with his performance if he's changing his name. He's got 4 straight top 11s.
Hey, if
Wow.
you get four straight top 11s, we can call him King if he wants to be called that, in
King
my opinion.
King Matt over Matthew
King
Wolf.
Matthew.
Wolf has been the opposite,
What is
bad and
he's lost
inconsistent.
his marbles,
Oh,
man.
yeah, he's just. I think it's the youth. He needs to mature a little bit with his success and try to get more consistent.
I
And
rostered him like whatever 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, and he was +7 before I could turn my computer on.
right, was
I
that when
was
he
like, what?
withdrew with the
Yeah,
alleged
that's
injury?
when I
Yeah,
had all the gifts of wolves getting shot and everything.
yeah. Then we have Corey Connors, who has been hot with a third and a seventh, and then how about Spieth, who's turned it around? Pretty solid group
He's the
here.
D. He's rated the D guy in
mean,
this group.
Geez, this is a tough one. I'm going to
What
go
a
with.
slap in the face, though.
I know. So Spieth is dangerous here. I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick at his price in terms of, hey, I'm going to pick one guy here. Where's the value? And that's where it is for me.
I'm going Fitzpatrick all the way. I mean, this is going to get some betus.com.pa money for me. I just think he gets through this group. I love Spieth. He's a local guy here. I always root for him, but I still don't think his game is there. And Fitzpatrick, hey, when you start saying what you want to be called, then you got some confidence brewing, and he is playing great. I think he's maybe my favorite pick in the group stage of all the groups.
Wow. Okay.
All right, next group: Patrick Cantlay, Hideki Matsuyama, Ortiz, and Harmon. So, to me, this is a chalk players a play here as well. Cantlay's just so much more professional. He's got all the pieces of the game. I know he had to withdraw. He missed a cut, this and that. He's just tough. And, seeing this course enough, he's got the game. I think, the way he shapes his shots, I think he just hammers these guys. Matsuyama's not playing well. Yeah. Ortiz is okay. Harmon's a grinder. He plays hard, but I love Cantlay here. I think he's a layup.
Okay. This is one we see a little bit differently.
Okay.
I like the dynamic of this bracket because you've got different prices and
Right.
they're all sort of attractive for different reasons, and because all three of the other guys I think are attractive at their price, this would be one where it might be my final decision where I plug in one of these guys to make the lineup work. Hideki, if he can get hot with the putter, I mean, watch out. This guy could win it all. He's that good tee to green. Ortiz is much better than being a 6K guy on DraftKings, 6,800.
He's underpriced.
He's
yeah.
underpriced. And Harmon, 72, is a pretty good price for him, and he's hot. He was tied for third at the Players.
Yeah.
So, I think you can make a case for all four of these guys, and this would be a group that I would look at for let's avoid the chalk of Cantlay and hope that we pick this one right if it fills out the lineup.
I think you're going to be missing the chalk here, buddy.
Okay, we'll see. Group 12, as we complete the first dozen here.
Very tough one.
Yeah, we got Patrick Reed, who loves match play, very successful history at it. Neiman, who's underpriced at 8,000. Chase, who's had some success lately. And then Bubba, who's great in this event, 7,400. I'm going to lean towards Bubba.
Really?
Yep. I'm going to fade Reed and hope that
Wow.
Bubba decides, you know what, I just feel like beating whoever I'm playing today, and I want to roll through this tournament again. So I've got Bubba here at 7,400.
It's not a bad pick. He did win it 2 years back, so I've got no argument there. I haven't seen the consistency in his game.
No, it
You
hasn't
know,
been there.
it really hasn't been there. Neiman's been very consistent, but it's match play. I mean, there are guys born for match play, and Reed is, I mean, he's been an anchor. We're talking teams with Tiger and everybody else. He's been an anchor to some of our Ryder Cup teams. That's how much he gets up for this match play kind of setting. And, he's had another controversy this year. I think he just puts his head down and gets out there and plays. I know he's favorite and his odds aren't good and his price is high, but it just reeks of match play of Pat Reed, taking advantage of that.
Excellent. How about number 13?
All right, I like this. I like this group too, but I do have a guy here, and I'll tell you what, Andrew, this guy that I pick, and I think you know who it is. He's going to be in 100% of my Draftkings lineups. You want to take a stab?
What day does the tournament start?
What for?
Jason Day?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No,
Oh,
Scotty
oh,
Scheffler.
see this? Here comes the Texas bias.
The
Oh boy.
Texas bias. We're
Oh
in
boy.
Austin. He is another guy that's played junior events here. He's won here. He's played match play on this course multiple times as a youngster, and then as he's grown up. And he's a nice. He's got a nice little initial match play record, and he's a guy that is starting to really, these are the guys you got to look at in these kind of events. A guy that wants to catch the eye of the Ryder Cup captains as a guy that can make a Ryder Cup team. Maybe not this year, but the next go around. And you start showing that by winning some of these events, or at least getting far in these events, because it says a lot about who you are and how you can play. The guy that's playing wacky, odd golf to me is Schauffele.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on there, man, but I've taken him a few times and he's just not good. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it. He's not been consistent off the tee. His iron play, which is usually money, has been shaky, and he can't putt all of a sudden. So not really the combination you want coming into an event, So I know Jason Day, two-time winner. A lot of people are going to say, Schauffele's off his game, and Day's been here. He's done that, including you. I think I have you for Day.
You made the case for me. Well
I knew
said.
it. I knew it. I can make most of your picks for you at this point. We should be able to. We've been doing this long enough.
Right.
But I think he's dangerous. Sullivan, God bless him. I think he has reservations for dinner, an early dinner, let's just say.
Yeah, on the weekend. He'll have an open weekend.
Exactly. So for me, I'm going with Scheffler. Not only going with Scheffler, but he's going to be a key DK play for me. So let's go. I'm going to get the Texas flag out, baby.
You're going to need it. He's going to need all the local love to get past this group. Xander, not even on his best day, could take him down, and Day with that history. That's where I lean here. I like the value, the price. So he's my guy. How about Group 14? It's got another stud in there named Rory, who missed the cut at the Players. I think I'll go ahead and fade him here in his price. I'd rather go with Cameron Smith. Three straight top 20s. Another $8,500 guy on DK. If you're noticing any theme here, it's that I like these value, or not value guys, but mid-tier guys. Who I think can go deep in this event, and I think he has the game and the mentality. Great finish at the Masters. Had that other top 5 recently, and I don't think he's going to be intimidated by Rory. And Poulter, the other reason I like Cameron Smith here is that Poulter, I think, will be a popular value play because of his incredible match play history. But maybe he just gets distracted with trying to outdo Rory, and Cam Smith just cruises along and takes this away. And I don't see Lanto Griffin coming out of here.
It's funny because I always get a kick out of Poulter because I've told you the story probably 50 times, but I went when I lived back in Western PA, and Poulter was just a youngster coming up. Now he's old timer for golf, but we used to go to the WGC at the Firestone there in Ohio, and I was walking in the well off the into the woods kind of area to another hole, and I got hit in the foot with an errant shot by Ian Poulter.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it hurt too. And he came over. He said, "You all right, mate?" or something. And he gave me his golf glove. I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
But it did it. I think it's because it ricocheted off my foot about 3 feet closer toward the fairway. I mean, not all the way out to the fairway, but I think it helped a little bit. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's my Poulter story, and my foot still hurts from that 15 years later. But I don't like this group. Cam Smith. This is my warning guy today. I think he's going to get the non-McIlroy guys are going to go there. He's a Florida guy, a Florida swing guy. Those 3 events, he's got a house real close to one of them. I forget which one. Those are sort of his home spots now, second home type of spots. And I just think there's some regression there. Lanto's been okay. Somebody like Poulter is always scary because how his record's been in Ryder Cups. He also relishes in match play. I just don't think any of them have enough talent as Rory. So I feel like you do in that other match where even if he's a little off, I think he can get out of this group. But I don't like his price. I'm not playing DraftKings, but he would be my pick to go through to the next round.
Okay. Only 2 groups left.
That is it. All right, we've got Berger. Do you know what? Here, I'm going to give you your quiz questions. We didn't do our normal quiz. What is Daniel Berger's record in this event?
Bad to very bad. Best finished was what, like 36th or something?
How about in the match play? He's 1-8 on this course. So that eliminates him for me. I'm going to play the odds there.
Mm-hmm.
English has been super hot, playing great. Todd, we know, and Van Rooyen, we've used Van Rooyen a few times as a cheap play. Those guys are decent, but I just think English is a smart play here. I think his price is right. He's been consistent. I don't think he gets past the next round, so I'm not really flying to DraftKings to play him. But I think he's the best player out of this group for who's in form right now in a match play setting.
I like him a little better than Berger because of the price discount, but I'm not excited about him enough to pay for him here and play him.
Yeah.
I'd rather go with the value play like Todd and hope that he got hot with the putter and have this be one of my groups where I can save some money. But not feeling great enough about it to play him probably in DraftKings, so this is probably a pass for me.
I think it's whoever wins this is the sacrificial lamb for the John Rahm train anyway.
Well, here we go. That's the stud in the last group who could certainly roll through here. But are you really going to abandon a fellow Texan like Ryan Palmer here?
I can't take every Texan. I've got to show some sense of sensibility here, and Palmer doesn't make the cut for me.
All right. Well, I might go with Palmer here.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to go with...
It's not Arnold Palmer, by the way.
That's true. It's a good point. And I do like Lowry has been trending in the right direction. Munoz has not been trending in the right direction. So it is Rahm or Palmer for me. I'd like the cheap price on Palmer, 7,000. But watch out for Lowry. 71 is a good price for him also. But he's the guy who is a little bit inconsistent. He'll have a couple bad holes, so I don't like that as much for match play. So I'll go with Palmer as another guy who, if you want to get off of the chalk, and you can tell us why he's good chalk, then Palmer would be a guy to look at.
I mean, I could spend the next 30 minutes going over Rahm here. I mean, I think he's trending in the right direction. He isn't that far off being primed for the Masters and everything. And I think he uses this to really tune up. He's intimidating. He's long. His putter's getting hot again. His match play record is outstanding. He's another guy that just, intimidating force out there. I think he fillets, whitewashes, and crushes this pod. How's that?
Yeah, that's confidence right
Other
there.
than
I
that, I
like
think
it.
it's going to be close.
Right. Perfect. All right. Well, we got
All
to
right,
pick
man.
our winners.
Yeah, who do you have in the championship match?
I've got Bryson continuing his dominance over this game of golf, meeting up with Louis Oosthuizen. Okay, there's
Nice.
the value play getting to the championship, and I've got Bryson winning it. But I like how those guys are made for match play. Bryson with a great match play history as an amateur, so
Yep.
that's who I've got battling it out on Sunday.
I like your picks. I really do. I'm going the finals, believe it or not. John Rahm versus Tyrrell Hatton,
Ooh, wow.
with John Rahm romping to the victory. I've got
Okay.
John Rahm taking it down. So he will be my big pay up guy. And obviously, Hatton will be the second flight pay guy that I'm really focusing on. But a lot of guys with some good shots, and you can get some really good edge in this DraftKings competition if you use the strategic pod theory here of determining who's going to get the furthest. Because even guys that almost make the cut for me, like Scheffler, I really like a lot and want to play him, but he's got to meet Rahm, after the second time that he gets through the group. And that, you got to, if you can get some of the guys in those final four, or at least the final eight, you got a good shot.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach, because when we put out our clipboard tonight for our members, we are not going to have guys from the same group. We're going to pick
Right.
the only guys we're going to put on the clipboard are going to be in different groups, and we're going to highlight guys who are not going to meet up in the second round. So we are going
Yes.
to absolutely make sure we don't make any mistakes with the bracket. Our members are not going to make mistakes with it, and that's going to give us an edge over people who may not even realize that guys could be in the same group. And don't double check it. We are going to do that for our members.
Absolutely. And this will almost be like a two brains are better than one, because there's no FanDuel to play and we're both so sold on this. We'll work on this DraftKings clipboard together, put our picks in there to make sure. And then ultimately Andrew's the DraftKings king, so I'll let him do the highlighted guys for sure. But at least I could throw a few of my Texans in there and give our players and members a good chance. So if you want those, right now, just from the listen to the pod, who our main guys are. But if you want the full build from that DraftKings clipboard, I think it's really going to help you, especially if you're playing a couple of different lineups. It'll give you some solid pivots to look at.
Yeah, and if you're interested in different sports, join us and you get to take advantage of that as well.
No doubt. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, please take a second. This is super important. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, click the alert button. That's extremely important to us. If you're listening to us audio-wise, Podbean, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're on all of them. Just take a second. The rating literally only takes like 10 seconds. Hit a 5-star, great podcast, whatever. You guys are a couple of ding-dongs, whatever you want to say, man. But we just appreciate you taking the time, and giving us some feedback. We really don't want you to put ding-dongs in there. We'd prefer good handicappers, whatever, but we're not too picky, but we do really appreciate that. And then again, we just love to have you dip your toe in the water, 3 days, $10, dfscoachtalk.com. We still have our great offer going with our sponsor, betus.com.pa. You can find that on our website. And two of our new sponsors will be putting their ad reads in here as we go forward. We're super thankful for them, and that's Monkey Knife Fight and Super Draft, both gaining tons of momentum in the industry with a little bit different angle at playing DFS sports and props. So that is it, my man. Any final words, Andrew?
No, it's going to be a great weekend, fun event, mix it up, and give you another bracket to watch in addition to the NCAA tournament.
Well, NCAA tournament, I've got one team left, so I think I'll focus on golf.
There you go.
So that is it. All right. Well, really appreciate everybody for checking this out. Hopefully this is a big help for you. Let us know how you do. If you cash, you hit some big winners, shoot us a note on Twitter. We're at DFS Coach Talk. He is at Language Olympic, and I am at JOESARVADI. So that is it. for the entire DFS Coach Talk team, I am Joe Sarvati. We'll catch you again next week when we look to crush it in PGA DFS.